Last week, some guy brought the bartender and asked him to pay up cribbage for it. This fellow, I listened to the tone. When the gambling has finally stopped and the money has been exchanged, when the other person's pockets are empty from one too many nylon games, it's time to throw on the coat, call it a night day, to shake hands and smile. You could have won, help break. I look on with astonishment at hard-looking, hard-drinking men. What are they trying to accomplish by having nothing left in the end? I mean, it was $20 a ball. Each game took about 10 minutes. He wasn't hitting anything at all. That was it. It was finished. Throwing money around as if he'd see it again. He's upset with himself now. Can you spot me a couple bucks, Frank? I'm telling you, gamblers don't wear them at easy. They always want to play one more. And you have to take them to school continually and hustle them on the back door. It could be pool or poker, perhaps cribbage or chess, a game of darts or pinball, even the horses out of Suffolk. Football, baseball, basketball, watching all the scores on TV. Flying my fist against the wall, after a while the shit caught up to me, especially when bill collectors call. Items get repossessed. Your mother's boyfriend has to loan some money to get you out of the mess, and they gamble that money away. Now the bookie's on the phone. You better have the cash for next week, buddy. He hangs up. I listen to the tone.
Attention. Your presence is voice, body heat. The things that might whisper, scream aloud. You wrap around curves like a tangle waiting for music. On that strikes women, the striking surface. You blaze, making trouble of best intentions. Boop. The one I have is a series of small vignettes about nights. I'm sure you always remember one or two nights somewhere along the way. About a few of those. I breathe and air textures my lungs. I have not yet memorized your face, but you are etched inside. I feel your chest rising and falling, mine falling and rising. The pressure of you on me is my imagination. I wrap my arms around across my nipples as if to stop time, bring you back with thought alone, and I do. Like a breeze across waking skin in the cool of dawn, premonition of you is a caress. Memories. Only I know this too clearly for dreams. 2. I drag my cheek across your skin, helpless to stop. Again. Not knowing what draws me. And not wishing to stop. Stop. Again. 3. You tenderly hold my breast and song, like a mountain cupped by an upset and loving sky who loosens ecstasy from cloud caress. Your tremble growing to growl, my tears, riblets on a pillow. 4. You are a wild place that lets my heart go free. And 5. I breathe deep of you, pine pitch, man sweat, a mixed musk that makes me think of real things like mowed hay, rocky trails in the mountains, a walk in the woods, not you in a chair breathing the times. Your smell in my memory, like a favorite music box, opens at moments of weakness to calm. If I sit here and close my eyes, I can remember your eyes. Steel blue, straight in your mind, warm lights, curling lips, your touch, chewy. These memories crease the other side of my lonely bed, and tumble the sheets in tangled puddles on the floor. Sometimes I forget to pull them loudly and feel the chill. Then
I know. Till is the body deep, and it's a nice little passage that I think talks about the artist. I myself have this theory about Rembrandt. I have spent many hours studying his paintings everywhere, in Amsterdam, Chicago, New York, or wherever I find them, and I do believe, as I told you, that so many great souls could not have existed as Rembrandt's paintings would have us believe. This is my theory, and please bear in mind when you read it that it accommodates all the elements involved. And this accommodation used to be the measure of the elegance of theories before the word science came to mean what it means today. I believe that Rembrandt sold his soul to the devil when he was a young man. It was a simple bargain. The devil promised to make Rembrandt the most famous painter of his time. The devil sent hordes of mortals to Rembrandt for portraits. He gave wealth to Rembrandt. He gave him a charming house in Amsterdam, a wife and later a mistress, because he was sure he would have Rembrandt's soul in the end. But Rembrandt had been changed by his encounter with the devil. Having seen such undeniable evidence of evil, he found himself obsessed with the question, what is good? He searched the faces of his subjects for their inner divinity, and to his amazement, he was able to see the spark of it in the most unworthy of men. His skill was such, and please understand, he got no skill from the devil. The skill was his to begin with, that not only could he see that goodness, he could paint it. He could allow his knowledge of it and his faith in it to suffuse the whole. With each portrait, he understood the grace and goodness of mankind even more deeply. He understood the capacity for compassion and for wisdom which resides in every soul. His skill increased as he continued. The flash of the infinite became ever more subtle, the person himself ever more particular, and more grand and serene and magnificent each work. At last, the faces Rembrandt painted were not flesh and blood faces at all. They were spiritual countenances, portraits of what lay within the body of the man or the woman. They were visions of what that person was at his or her finest hour, of what the person stood to become. That is why merchants of the Drapers' Guild look like the oldest and wisest of God's saints. But nowhere is the spiritual depth and insight more clearly manifest than in Rembrandt's self-portraits. And surely you know that he left us 122 of these. Why do you think he painted so many? They were his personal plea to God to note the progress of this man who, through his close observation of others like him, had been completely religiously transformed. This is my vision, said Rembrandt to God. Towards the end of Rembrandt's life, the devil grew suspicious. He did not want his minion to be creating such magnificent paintings, so full of warmth and kindness. He had believed the Dutch to be a materialistic and therefore worldly people. And here, in pictures full of rich clothing and expensive possessions, grew the undeniable evidence that human beings are wholly unlike any other animal in the cosmos. They are a precious mingling of the flesh and immortal fire. Well, Rembrandt suffered all the abuse heaped upon him by the devil. He lost his fine house in the Jodenbriefstraat. He lost his mistress and finally even his son. Yet on and on he painted without a trace of bitterness or perversity. On and on he infused his paintings with love. Finally he lay on his deathbed. The devil pranced about gleefully, ready to snatch Rembrandt's soul and pinch it between evil little fingers. But the angels and saints cried to God to intervene. In all the world, who knows more about goodness, they asked, pointing to the dying Rembrandt. Who has shown more than this painter? We look to his portraits when we would know the divine in man. And so God wrote the pact between Rembrandt and the devil. He took to himself the soul of Rembrandt, and the devil, so recently cheated of Faust for the very same reason, went mad with rage. Well, he would bury the life of Rembrandt in obscurity. He would see to it that all the man's personal possessions and records were swallowed by the great flow of time, and that is, of course, why we know almost nothing of Rembrandt's true life or what sort of person he was. But the devil could not control the fate of the paintings. Try as he might, he could not make people burn them, throw them away, or set them aside for the newer, more fashionable artists. In fact, a curious thing happened, seemingly without a marked beginning. Rembrandt became the most admired of all painters who had ever lived. Rembrandt became the greatest painter of all time. That is my theory of Rembrandt and of those faces. Thank you.
It's called The Drying the Lamp for Dennis. Perhaps he will come laughing from the woods, breathing and reading some barbaric tongue. But no, Dennis is dead. He drowned in the dark, in cold October water in New Hampshire. There was no moon, but there were stars above a heavy ground mist. He went out for a lark upon the lake in a rowboat that was there. The boat looked worthy, but it leaked. Such are the gaps in our assumptions. So often do we live or die by fluke. He called for help and was heard and ignored by people in the cabins on the shore, warm and dry in the light, breathing and saying, "While you're up, just kids," they thought, screwing around. And if they're not, then may they pay the price for all the kids who ever screwed around, disturbed the peace, and broke our cabin windows in off-season. He swam on, probably, with full intent to live, intent called into question very soon, as cold exhaustion siphoned his resolve. And then a question, suddenly and finally demanding, is it worth it? Yes or no? And now, is it worth one more stroke? And for each stroke, the question is the same. The price is higher. An auction, piece by piece, of a matching set, worthless to him if broken up, of strokes. And death is bidding from capital unlimited and to unending time and chaunting, now or later. Perhaps there was another voice that said, "It's all right, Dennis, if you want to quit and come home, come really hose to me." Twice he helped us move, doing a man's work. We still owe him for the second time. His favorite joke was mispronouncing. His delight was so infectious that you had to laugh when he'd say, "Dobernuts," or "affliction." Always he referred to the pastor as Monster Norton. He did a creditable Boris Karloff, and for Halloween he had a Groucho Marx mask. He received communion yesterday. He was a generous or gentle boy, not very tall kid, and they will find his slender body soon, because the lake is small. We shall be expected at the house, library books to be returned and such. The grandmother, without her Dennis, will need someone to watch with her, shouting consolation at her discount hearing aid. A room full of teenage squalor to be cleaned, debts and respects to be paid. And tonight, while his lovely sisters weep, her grief they cannot handle, cottagers rest in easy sleep, knowing there's one less vandal.
It's on the seasons. Spring flushes out to summer. Summer warms the toes of fall. Winter rolls over in its covers until spring's light again warms up the walls. But I've been claims over for a couple of years now, but I got this tall and I thought I'd read it.
And that,
So it kind of provides a sudden mental picture and the feelings. Sown below, after dinner, I laughed at the sudden mental picture of Robert Parrish in a gray dress.
True blues, man. You don't notice that. Some things that last forever are only for about a minute long. Be it a forgotten favor or a hidden gift, they live on in our mind as a forgotten song. This last one I wrote just a few days ago, I ended this. Raindrops are we, up from the bottom of the dark seas, for a one green moment in the sun, between eternities. Wait. This piece has been in revision for some time, and sure, it was a piece that I didn't get a chance to do out in San Francisco. I'm making next year, if I'm blessed to be one of the teams, I'll have this down packed and committed to memory. I called you and they. When she was a little girl, she was so full that she could stand up in a barrel full of nails without getting scratched. Her nickname was Bo. You would make round from a small Georgia town, didn't take no mess that she owned the ground she walked on. And did. Her sandy red hair pushed back into a ponytail made her appear 40 years younger than her age. But her thing, the bushy brown face melting with age told the real story. She was 65. Eula May grew collard greens to leave her kitchen window and defied the housing authority to say a word about it. Every morning, she served her mailman coffee with cream and sugar. She served her mailman coffee with cream and sugar, and perhaps with an extra lump when the disability check came. I remember the smell of catfish in the back hallway and the sound of her hacking cough from my upstairs bedroom, making my bones rattle whenever she gasped for air. You were made minded nobody's business but her own, but did mind if you were doing good. Did mind, like the time when I skipped school and went to house parties during lunch hour. You were made minded when I let strange kids in the house when Mama went to work that night, blasting the brand new stereo with the first record I ever bought, Archie Bell and the Drell, Tighten Up. Mama tightened up when you were late too, and I got my ass whipped with an extension cord. It wasn't abuse. It was discipline. You and me cried when I asked her why she told. I told because I love you, she said. I hate to see you do wrong. Your mama burped you. You liar. I want you to grow up and be somebody. I promised her I would. A promise that outlived flesh. A promise that rises like the smoke ring she blew and encircles me with memories. The day we moved away from Carlton Street, Mama gave you and me old knickknack as a token of love and appreciation. A testament of a time when people knew their neighbors and looked out for them. Now, strange families occupy once familiar spaces. Door slots have replaced mailboxes, and hieroglyphic graffiti is sprayed on brick walls. I walk through the old neighborhood as a stranger, a witness who once walked barefoot on pavements without the fear of broken glass. Yet it glitters. Each memory shines like a diamond, reminding me of a blessed time when in this kingdom of red brick and green wooden doors, catfish smells emanated in a back hallway. You and me? The old garden is bare now. Look your smoke rings of memories around me. And like the collard greens you used to plant, may they never stop growing beneath kitchen window. Starts to despair that just keep on so different. This one helps me realize that we all in some some common bonds, waters, when the song's called Little Bit Country, Little Bit Rock and Roll. A water molecule just screaming into the toilet below me has helped quench the thirst of a great brontosaurus and is served in the cup at the Last Supper, has rested behind the ear of Hannibal's elephant and has pelted the deck of the Santa Maria, has trickled between Shakespeare's toes and has glazed the fence at Fort Sumter, has led the infiltration of the Titanic and has rolled down the cheek of Jim Baker. I'm 70% world history, man, and I think I like it. Untaught genius, redwood, woman, eagle, engineer, whiskey, and I'm changing every day. I hope I'm part astronaut or fireman Tom. Who knows? The next snowflake I catch with my mouth may dissolve into a backseat kiss with that girl at third row we'll probably never know. I wrote this after a very interesting evening. I was with a girl from whom I care a great deal, and this night also involves a red hot jalapeno pepper and a very strong tabernacle. This is called The Dragon's Lament. Have you ever kissed a dragon before? Did you see him waiting at the castle gates? Did you see him running away, leading, retreating from the mercenary crowd, the knights and princes with their noble steel and crested shields, who would slay the dragon tooth and tail, on a crimson pillow lay them at your feet, eloquence, simply pieces and again token love. But real is the despair, the vacuum of silence in the dragon's lair, and here he waits for you, counting his wounds, adding them to his legion, to the ranks of scars cut by the blade of misunderstanding. For the dragon speaks in flame. The words catch fire as they pass by his heart, rising up and jumping off his tongue hot. The words of the dragon always seem to burn. But take a look beyond the flames, closely, to the cool shadows on the wall of his lonely cave. Maybe you can hear him whispering, "Kiss me, I am a giant." And it's last year I was fortunate enough to take a trip around the country for my friends. And it's called Home for an Indian Cowboy, Tempe, Arizona. On a dark highway west from Tempe, Arizona, in Jamie's 73 Volkswagen bus, with a grunting diesel shifting gears passing our right, I realized that the Native American man with the cowboy hat back at the convenience store had given me a poem. We were talking. He told me he made this up one day, driving to work, and now he keeps it in his head. With war comes peace. With peace comes war. With life comes death. With death comes life. We talked a little more. Goodbye. Yeah, see you later. While Jamie checked the oil and gas station somewhere in Southern California, I finished these lines. Light is the bird on a wick in a wood. War is the wind that bellows the flame. Peace is the cool in the battle ash rain. Death is the calm, the fertile ash blanket, the sleeping flames cover, the black silk of heaven. Thank you.
Sunday. The sky beats gather upon my window. Clouds drip, dreamy. Thoughts cool, sequenced by each joining. A bell tone. Sunday.
This is more philosophy than poetry, so I've entitled it Philosophy.
There are only two answers in life. Maybe, maybe not. There is only one truth. Life's end is not its goal. There's been a lot of poems lately about writer's block. And I decided, I had it a while ago, I waited until after it was over to write about it. I looked another. So. Wow. Rivulet of pain bounce my brain, rubber. It dilates, chokes, expunges paper. This bark grows, dreads eyes, twists brow, dreaded, levels head, locks jaw, square, block.